In Spider-Man and Daredevil, we find a guy named Kenny Fitzgerald as he's trying to get the hell away from Spider-Man, as Spider-Man is trying to shake him down for information. As Kenny runs through the alleyway, Spider-Man webs him by the leg and strings him up. Now, Kenny claims they wanted him to do stuff, but he said no, not in a million years. But Spider-Man thinks that's bullshit because as Spider-Man strings him up, he asks him how come the first thing out his weaselly little mouth when he runs into him is I never done nothing. Now, Kenny tells Spider-Man he's not saying a word, and Spider-Man is none too happy about that. But elsewhere in the city, we find Daredevil as he swings through the cityscape. Daredevil's powers stem from a radioactive accident that left him blinded, but his remaining senses were supercharged to superhuman levels. He can essentially map out his environment using echolocation. He can hear heartbeats from blocks away, and he possesses superhuman reflexes as well as peak human conditioning. As Daredevil makes his way to the docks, he finds a deal gone bad as there's several dead bodies and an unobserved third party made off with some very expensive merchandise. The next night, the lights turn off at an illegal casino operation, leaving many villains dead, a bit of poetic justice. But it doesn't end there, as the same night, a very expensive, uninsured building explodes. The same MO, but it figures to be an accident, perhaps even a coincidence. As Daredevil makes his way home, he's so distracted he almost misses the sound of the heartbeat coming from inside his apartment. Daredevil can sense that it's coming from a male with peak human conditioning, as he can sense that Spider-Man has made himself at home in his apartment. Spider-Man and Daredevil chat about the deal going bad down at the docks. Spider-Man informs Daredevil that the merchandise that was stolen down at the docks belonged to the Kingpin. But as Daredevil tosses Spider-Man some sparkling water, Spider-Man asks if he has soda because this stuff actually gives him gas. But Daredevil tells him it's water and it keeps him hydrated. Spider-Man would tell Daredevil about his little meeting he had earlier in the alleyway. But he would also ask Daredevil about a gentleman named Jack Daniel Abbott, a man that Matt Murdock just so happens to be familiar with. Spider-Man asks him to do some investigating, and in the meantime, he's gonna snoop around and see who's crazy enough to go after the Kingpin. But elsewhere, at a lair in the city, Stiltman wonders why they keep doing this little nickel and dime stuff instead of going after the big fish. But as Gladiator calls Stiltman small, Stiltman tells him if he ever calls him small again, he'll kill him before he can finish that sentence. But their boss, who has yet to be revealed, comes out of the shadows to quell the fighting. He tells Stiltman, Gladiator, and Copperhead that they're all kindred spirits and their time will come sooner rather than later. But down at the penitentiary, Matt Murdock would go have an audience with Jack Abbott. He's familiar with Jack, as Jack is in and out of jail like a fox in a henhouse. Now, as Matt tries to extract information from Jack, Jack is not so forthcoming as Jack seems to be scared of something. Matt can sense his heart rate is racing and his pupils are dilated. But Jack is trying to tell him something as he's tapping on the table, almost like he's trying to convey a message in Morse code. Matt Murdock documents him tapping 7 times in quick succession. He documents what little clues he can, but he knows he has to be careful as the guards here are likely in someone else's pocket. But elsewhere, at the office of the Kingpin tells his men that this is still his city, but little does he know his building is being infiltrated. As a helicopter closes in, Stiltman, Gladiator, and Copperhead make their way to the control room and execute the guard. Gladiator proceeds to disable the security systems, but while Kingpin is still having a meeting, one of his security guards comes to tell him that they have some kind of problem. Now, as Stiltman makes his way through the elevator shaft, he makes it to the top floor and he grabs the guard and pulls him through the shaft and tosses him to the bottom. As the helicopter closes in on the Kingpin's building, Stiltman, Gladiator, and Copperhead place several bombs throughout the building. Now, as Kingpin security is still trying to figure out what the hell's going on, Kingpin can't see as Kingpin has been blinded, but a big-ass helicopter closes in on them with heavy artillery. As the helicopter unleashes a hailstorm of missiles, Kingpin and his headquarters are seemingly decimated in the explosion. To be continued.